Hi, Tammy.
Hello,
Hello.
hello. Hey, I'm sorry things are all mixed up, but they're just gonna be mixed up for a while. Oh, hey, Christina, I didn't know I was gonna get to see you. Yay. Ray, Julie, you getting ready to leave?
Yeah. Uh,
Is your wife going?
yeah.
Oh, good. That's nice.
Mhm.
Hey, Ryan, thanks for joining. So I want to just do a little bit, I felt super guilty because I like everyone to participate. I felt super guilty stripping out speaking assignments, but I think the group was right. We don't want too much back and forth. Um, and so I just wanted to give some guidance for what to expect. First, Raidul's got the picture, background, um, and identify where you're from. You don't have to do it now. Just do it Thursday. I may not get a chance to talk to you all before Thursday, and so I just wanted to say what I think will happen. So people are going to go through the presentation. Um, I still want to think of a way that we will be communicating offline, whether that's email, which could be very distracting, or I think whatever we choose will be distracting. It might be nice to have something on the phone or something, right? Um, I don't know if y'all have ideas. Younger generation is usually much better at that thing than me. I mean, we could Discord, we could, but it requires setting stuff up. So big picture though, um, I will probably say something like, Raidul, I think that's a question for you. So example is something like, so tell us about this agent-based model. What's it going to do? And we'll try to have scripts written for it, but I'm guessing that those reviewers are going to ask us a couple of curveballs, right? And we're just not, we're going to be, we're going to be struggling like, whoops, never thought of that one. Right. Um, and so you, so first of all, if you've got a scripted one, then just go ahead and read it. I'll expect you to be able to improvise, right? Because whatever questions we're putting down there are not going to be exactly how they're asked. So don't just go find a similar question. You're all smart people, and I know you can adapt. But the other thing that I want to say is you should probably have a timer and limit your answer to less than a minute. And make sure you know exactly what they are asking. So if you're not clear on this, I think everybody's had experience with this through their dissertations and defenses. But that, and I think you're clear on, and you've seen people go astray. And so I would just time yourself and think of what you could say in less than a minute. Don't go beyond that. Um, the other thing that you can do is give a short answer. And if you're really uncomfortable with it, say, does anyone else want to add something? And that can be my clue to try to pick somebody else who could answer that. So short answer, have an out. Um, yeah, so I guess that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Um, I am going to try to kick questions to you when possible, is the other thing. So don't be surprised. Even though I had to cut people out of a 15-minute presentation, I do want to show that people are working, people are active, people have ideas. It's not just the PI that have PIs that have ideas. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say.
I'm curious if I may ask about this 1 minute, because sometimes it's kind of a strategy to not waffle around, but talk for like 2 or 3 minutes, because if they have 45 minutes to ask questions and we have 1 minute answers, they can ask a lot of questions.
Mhm. Mhm. I am providing, so I provided that guidance just for, especially for people who need it. So people who are like earlier in their careers, I'm not trying to pick, Chris, I didn't know you were gonna be here. I thought you couldn't.
I just got back, so I decided to join for a little bit.
Decided to come hang out. Yeah,
Yeah.
so what we're talking about is I suggested to people that you try to keep your answer. If I kick you a question, you try to keep your answer to under a minute. And Christina said it could be a strategy to make the answers longer, because the 1 minute answer could allow us to ask, or them to ask many questions. Right? Was that the basic idea, Christina?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on a question. If we don't have a lot to say, maybe we say 1 minute, but if we have good things to say about something, why not talk 2 or 3 minutes to avoid other questions we might not know answers to, right? I don't know. I was
think
just
that's,
curious about your
yeah,
thinking.
no, it's a rough guideline, and it really, it's a guideline for people. Okay, so here's my other, maybe here's my guideline for the guideline. Know yourself. If you're a person who tends to answer long, then try to keep yourself short. Does that make sense? Christina,
Yeah,
I
so it's
think
not super strict, maybe. Yeah.
it's not super strict. It's not like 59 seconds and you stop talking. It's more like, if you know you can talk for 5 minutes about your analysis, then you might want to tighten that up.
Yeah, got it.
What should I do if I want you to shut up? If I'm like, no, time out. How should we handle that? Maybe that's the better thing to talk about, right? Not just that you must talk for only for 1 minute, but that what I'm really trying to do is keep people from going into deep waters. So I think you all know that sometimes the more you explain, the bigger the hole you're digging, right? And so Christina, you looked at the backgrounds of the people. I have two, and there's a couple who are maybe on the social science side. A bunch of them are biologists. And so maybe that's the thing I should have brought forward. The sciencey side is very heavily biology and that sort of thing. There's a couple of social scientists. They're the two at the end of the list that I sent out. And then there's a bunch of people from the two at the bottom, Ryan.
Yeah,
And I don't even know how I would call them. Like, and there's some flavor of social science, right? There's one who does, I think, rural development of some kind.
I will try and learn their language today, I guess.
Awesome. That would be super helpful. Because I was like, okay, somebody knows what these people do, but it's not me.
I just got tired of looking for social scientists, so gave up. I was like, it's all biologists.
And then the folks at NSF, I don't know what their backgrounds are. So they're programmatic people. But so you can see that they're probably not going to glom onto the very details of our decision model, for example. They did come out, I did send them I know I've sent a gazillion messages to Respect.
Yeah, sorry, I thought it'd be easier just to ask Ryan real quick. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail the.
Anyway, so yeah, so Christina, my 1 minute was really a guideline to just to keep people from diving into so much detail. I think we've all seen answers that have gone kind of like, off the rails, and that's what I'm trying to prevent.
Do you think we should use a time? I mean, another option would be to have each person use a timer for themselves. Not saying it has to be a hard stop at 1 minute, like you literally stop in the middle of a sentence or our thought, but that, you know, that at least keeps you on track to make sure you're not, you know, going way over.
Well, so what I would say is know yourself. I mean, Adam, you've said in the past, and I don't always agree, but you've said, oh, I tend to blather on or something. So maybe you feel like you need a timer, and that is totally fine with me. However you feel you are, have a method to limit yourself and limit your detail. Christina, I usually find you, at least during the video, as I mentioned, pretty crisp. And so, you may just naturally do that and not need to time yourself if it's more of a nature thing for you. So I think it's just, it's more recognize what you need. That includes for some of you maybe comfort with the English language. Those of you whose English is not your first language, I don't know how you react when you're in a pressure situation or you're nervous. I haven't had a chance to observe that. So just either know what you need or tell me what you need. Like beforehand. Like you need to ask me a direct question. Right? If you're a person who would find it useful for me to paraphrase a question that you could answer, let me know that. For most people, I won't do that. But if that's something you need, let me know.
So if I understand this correctly, the system is they ask a question and then you're sort of the quarterback and
Something like that.
say, what's that?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. I was trying to think of the best, that's not the perfect metaphor, but close enough. And you say, well, I think that Zara or Ryan has some interesting thoughts on that. And we may also need a system if we get something that's just completely out of left field. And you know, a way for people to say, oh, that we were not anticipating that, but I think I have a good response to that, the way to signal that to you. Especially if you're taken at a loss, like they asked some I can't even think of just some really obscure thing that's just you know, I can't think of it because it's obscure.
To keep my deer in headlights from looking to.
Yeah, particularly if it's, but I mean, particularly if it's people that don't have a disciplinary background that's, you know, in the orbit of what we're doing. There could be some good faith questions that are also, you know, very strange, basically.
Yeah, I think that is a really good point, Adam, because I've been sometimes the most surprised by questions that people feel free to ask that, you know, are kind of ridiculous if you know the field. Is that the kind of thing you're talking about? Where I'm like,
yeah,
oh, God, that's
yeah.
really stupid. So, okay, so.
Or things that might be that, you know, if you were a second year graduate student in political science or something, or civil engineering or whatever, would just be kind of an assumed given, or, you know, something that everyone knows. But that for someone who may be a brilliant biologist,
Right.
they, you know, I'm trying to, you know, maybe they're wondering why we're doing qualitative interviews. Why would you do that? That's not, you know, I don't know. Just there's all kinds of,
it's not data.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's you're just talking to people. That's not data. Something along those lines, where we even have to defend things. I don't know that it's going to happen, but you know, occasionally when I've submitted things to like really interdisciplinary journals and outlets like that, I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes journals in my field, you get this kind of these questions. Like, well, you don't know that? That's everyone knows that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had that too, where even in reviews, right, where you go, holy cow, if you knew even anything about the field, you wouldn't say that. but nevertheless, there you are. So I think you have a good point, Adam. I think we do need a method to communicate offline. Do people agree that it would be good to put it on the phone? Because for me, if I'm on a Zoom screen and I've got things going all over the screen, it is hard for me to focus and I lose the buttons.
People, if we don't have it on phones, I think people will send it to the wrong chat window, is what's going to happen.
You're totally right.
I think it has to be a different device if we're going to do that.
Yeah, okay. So we sort of have a Discord, but people don't use it. Do we want to do
We
that? or
could
do
use it
we-
for this. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, we could just create a new channel.
Or just the same channel since we're all in it already.
What I don't know is if everybody is on a Discord, but so, and I would use it sparingly, but something like what Adam said, I think I can give a good response to that, or stop talking now. Right. So Zara and Raidul, because I deal with you two the most, I'm going to say something and then you tell me if this feels comfortable to you. I'm not going to ask you to deal with the crazy left field questions. I'm just going to say, if it's something about the project, like, what do you mean how you're using ResStock? Then I'll kick it to you if it's exactly in your field. Is that what you think I should do?
For me, yes, it sounds something good because maybe I couldn't answer that other crazy question you mean.
Yeah, that works for me as well.
How about and I think the two of you are a lot newer in the project, and so one of the reasons that I put Kartik on the speaking list is he's been around the longest and has the most to report. Kartik, are you on? Are you double timing something?
Almost. Yeah, I was just trying to eavesdrop and figure out what's going on with. Yeah, I'm here though, I'm listening.
We're just logisticking kind of things. I think what I want to know from you is, do you want things that are only about your work, or would you be willing to take things that are a little farther outside, like, let's talk about well-being? Or do you want me to kick that one to Ellison or Narasimha?
And I would definitely like to answer those questions. I think my biggest flaw is that I tend to get into the weeds a lot. So, when it's like, oh, well-being, I'm like, oh, what does that even mean? I just get into that zone. So you definitely want to be careful with giving such things to me, unless you want to hear those things.
Unless you want, let's take all 45 minutes on well-being. So, yeah, I'll try to be judicious about that. But I don't know if you heard this discussion, but one of the things we were talking about was, the first thing I said was talk for only a minute. And then Christina had good points about when you might want to talk about for more than a minute. But I still think that those people who know that they tend to go long should have some way of timing themselves. Or just, set a stopwatch or something when you start talking, so you can have a sense of how long you've been talking.
Yeah, I like Adam's idea of having a stopwatch. I think I definitely need one, and an eye on the chat as well. So yes, noted.
Okay. Okay, so I'll get everybody on Discord, and we'll use it sparingly, and I will try to be judicious about Zara. Who, and Christina, I didn't ask you. Is there, in addition to questions about your work, are there questions that you feel capable and interested of answering?
I'm happy if it's just questions about my work, to be honest. I'm not sure they will ask anything about it because it's like a tiny part of the whole overall thing. So yeah, I was going to ask you how you decide who to, or which type of questions you would direct to me so I can kind of prepare for it. But I guess you don't know, right? Or that's kind of yeah.
I think one thing that people can do if you all want to get together, not wait for schedule, is you can get together and do kind of a grill session. Like, what is the worst question you could give me about my work? Or what do you hope nobody asks, right? Or just have people come up with random questions. It's good practice anyway.
Yeah, so Tammy, I think you were busy at that time. So Narsima and all of us, we did a practice that we went to each of the slide, which is relevant to us, and we tried to find ourselves like what are some of the worst question we can find, and we got answer to most of the questions, but that was a really good exercise, and I still have some question that I feel will be helpful to discuss with you that I'll do in today's meeting, but I think that's a very good exercise. If you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah. And we will get ones we don't anticipate.
Yeah.
And I have a question about the Discord thing.
Yeah.
I have not been part of it or anything. Can you send me a link, or what do
Yes,
you need?
certainly.
Is it with email or phone number or?
I'm doing it, I'm opening it now. I don't know. My kids set it up for our family. That's how I know how to do it. So that means I don't know a lot of tricky things about it. They're like, Mom, nobody uses Facebook. Okay, so here's the channel, and do I know invite people? Okay, here is the link. Send this to a friend, putting it in the chat.
Thanks.
I've sent this out by email recently, but there has been a lot of email I recognize. And you can see that there's channels on there, so we're gonna be on general. Oh, it's not a voice channel, okay. Okay, other questions? Are you ready? Like, I'm afraid that, like, I started to forget what we wrote in the report because it was 3 products ago. Like, I don't even remember what we told them. That's what I'm afraid of, is becoming inconsistent. Okay, everyone review report, video, more to, and I think one of the, like, Brian, all your really interesting, like, equity stuff didn't even show up in the video. I was kind of,
That's
so I
okay.
feel like, no, but I feel like we have a lot. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
That's like, I think that's why, like, I'm not that worried about this because I think people have done a lot of stuff and we're gonna have stuff to talk about. And an hour is no time. Like, I usually figure, like, if I'm teaching a class, I get like one key point in an hour. And so, like, the time isn't going to be a problem. I think it's more like, if we have a good discussion, we're going to be fine. So, and they've probably already decided whether they're going to fund us or not. So,
They probably haven't even looked at our report. They're
well,
gonna do it like.
they'll make their decision on Wednesday night.
Yeah, no, but you're probably right. There's not a lot we can do. One of the things that I believe that Narasima and I attended an early. It was there, or no, it was the TDI thing. Where they're like, they're really looking one of the things they're really looking at is to see how you interact. Because they can tell if if you have met each other before, right? So maybe we'll be good there. Maybe we'll just all, have a ridiculous discussion about air conditioning and well-being.
I was also thinking, I think I wrote it somewhere, like for the convergence, they can ask specific people about other people's work. I think that's how I would do it if I were them,
Mm.
to see if the convergence worked.
But if you don't know that now, it's too late. Right? And I think everybody knows this, but don't try to make stuff up. If you've come to the end of your knowledge, just say so.
I'm just gonna start with that. I'm gonna say I don't know, and then
Right. But actually nobody knows. And,
Yeah.
and that's why we're here.
we need phase 2 because we don't know the answer to your question.
We're not going to find the answer in phase 2. We'll tell you right now.
I wish I could remember a little bit more about my prior convergence project, because we did one of these. I don't remember, I don't remember them. I don't remember them asking particularly insightful questions. That seemed like they were like deeply engaged in the project, like they'd really read a bunch and kind of like had thought about it a lot. But I also don't remember, it didn't seem like they were trying to sort of paint us into a corner or nail us in any way. It didn't seem like it was the point was to make you squirm and think on your feet and kind of expose, you know what I mean? Like it didn't seem like the point was to be like mean, I guess.
It wasn't like a defense.
It wasn't like how I think probably the more old school way of approaching a dissertation defense or something like that. Or that sort of thing. But I also don't remember some of the questions we had. I don't know, they didn't seem, I just remember walking away with the impression that maybe they weren't highly engaged with all the material that we provided them, which I mean is probably understandable because I know they're doing a lot of these. But that might also help explain why some of the things that they do decide to fund again don't look like convergence, because maybe it's easier to wrap your head around. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't either. I mean, if they, we did what we did, right? So maybe my goal for this 1 hour session is that we just don't step in a deep hole. Right? We're not gonna do anything new or impress them any differently. We just need to not totally screw up. You're right, they already decided. Okay.
Can you at some point send a test message via the Discord thing? Because I think I'm on it now, but it just says add friends and stuff. So maybe if you send a message, it pops up somewhere.
Yeah, I just sent one. Oh, actually, I didn't see you because it says everyone welcome Kartik, but I don't see you, Christina. And you can wave to people.
Yeah, I don't think I'm in that channel or something. Oh, okay, maybe now.
Welcome, Christina. We hope you brought pizza.
Okay, now it looks good. Yeah.
Christina, I have to introduce your work or mention your work on one of the slides I'm covering tomorrow. So I don't want to say it wrong. Do you pronounce your last name Schwentner?
Schwentner, yeah, it's fine. Do whatever you can.
One more time?
Schwentner.
Okay.
But it was pretty good. Don't worry about it.
No, that the better I do it. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Kartik, can you say your last name for me? I'm not sure I know how to say it.
It's Akiraju.
Akiraju. Okay. Great. Okay, so I'm gonna, y'all can go. I was gonna hang out with Ryan a little bit, and Chris, you can hang around too. I mean, you're all welcome to hang around, but I thought we'd just go through the script. Or talk about whatever you guys wanted to talk about, especially since Ryan, it looked like you weren't available tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm flying to Seattle with Marin and going to visit
Mhm.
Allison, and I don't know how to fit it in tomorrow with
Yeah,
all of
fair. Say hi to Allison.
Yeah, I will. I haven't seen her since like 2018. So
Really?
we found like
Dang.
one afternoon.
Yeah, no, totally take that afternoon. Okay, so thanks for taking time today. Again, the rest of you are free to go. You are,
Thank you.
okay. Thank you. See ya.
Just super quick, what time would that meeting likely be tomorrow?
Hell if I know, Chris.
Okay.
Nobody's
No,
answered yet.
yeah. Oh, okay. All right. I just want, I wanted to.
If I could schedule a meeting, I would have scheduled a meeting. I'm so sorry.
Well,
If it
So
ends
just
up being at sorry, I was just gonna say if it ends up being at a time I can get on, I'll try and get on. I have no idea. I've never traveled with Marin, so it could be a disaster.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's exciting. And you're going alone.
Yeah,
with her.
yeah, Emily's not
Yeah.
going. So
Ah, well, I hope she's an angel.
yeah, we'll see.
Okay. So I'm going to the drive. And like, did you guys look at it? I wrote stuff. I hate this writing stuff for other people. I feel like I'm a dictator. It's really not me. And everyone's like, sure, whatever. I'll read that.
I kind of just took it and then modified it a little bit to say what I thought I would say, but using your general framework because I figured that's what you wanted us to do.
Ugh. Okay.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Um, okay. Oh, and then hold on. And then Chris, thank you for sending what you did yesterday. I haven't pasted it in yet, but I will. I like hate these slides. So why? Okay. I don't know. So Chris, did you update what you wanted to be there?
No, I think let's see, on this, I just sort of responded to the the questions that we could potentially get.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
so
okay.
yeah, no, as far as the script goes, I felt like it was well written. So I just kept it, or I didn't have any suggestions there.
I'm looking for my phone. You guys have no idea how many things can happen at once. Well, I mean, you have kids, so I guess you do, but it's not even with my kids. I appear to have lost my phone, which is not a big deal, but I was gonna use it to time things, so I'll just use my watch, which is fine. So Chris, would you like to run through it, see how it flows? You've got 3 slides. I didn't know if that was too many. Give me a minute to make my watch work. My watch says my phone is upstairs. That should be. Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
All right. The experience of well-being may be quite different from what you can see in national statistics. I interviewed people in their homes with a semi-structured script, which allowed me to explore factors that we may not have expected. It seems we took a panel of advisors from community organizations, helped shape those questions. We took special care to speak with people who had recently chosen to alter their heating or air conditioning by sampling from the permit database. We heard that thermal comfort was an important aspect of well-being at home, and we also expanded questions like what makes it feel like home. And we also asked about motivating factors for the change. Not surprisingly, thermal comfort is important to feeling good at home, but we confirm that people raise this particular aspect of well-being more often than most others. And that's consistent with what many other people are evaluating in observational studies in homes, according to Ellison Carter's review. But at the national level, we see that energy insecurity affects people's well-being. Thermal comfort and energy security certainly have a relationship, but connecting the data that are collected at a national scale to the observations that people can make when they deal with individuals and homes will take some alignment. Christine Schwentner's work is another way in which statistical analysis at a national scale is checked and compared with what people say in their homes. Christine created a unique longitudinal data set in which she could follow individual houses from one year to the next. People were more likely to adopt heat pumps when they had just moved or when they had previously had air conditioning. She didn't find much effective climate, although I heard in the field that heat stress caused several people to replace working equipment. I also heard that contractors or installers are key intermediaries in defining people's choice set. Many of the people I talked to weren't even offered the option of choosing a heat pump. And this limiting factor can't show up in current national statistics, although it does affect national outcomes.
Cool. So that's year 3. That was 230.
Okay.
So a couple of things, like these are less written by you than the other ones were, right? So, so one of I can take out the brackets, and I will do that beforehand. But I thought it was an interesting contrast, like she didn't find this, but I heard this. So yeah, so just kind of emphasize that, like the importance of having both ends of the spectrum.
Okay.
How
I actually liked that. I thought it was unclear too. I got confused there.
okay, so what do you, I mean, I can change it too.
It just needs a transition to make it clear that there's like a transition between Christine's work and Chris's work there.
Yeah, okay.
Because
So
I got
like,
lost listening to it, and I know what you're both doing. So
maybe how about this? Although she didn't find much effective climate.
Yeah.
I heard in the field. Yeah, so I think this was all about that contrast. Like she could look in the national data and she could see that prior equipment was important, but then I went to people's houses and I heard that not only, right, not, and you don't have to say this, but the idea is not only was that important, but they didn't even think about a heat pump, is what I've heard from you, right, Chris?
Right.
Yeah, so that, the other thing is the script is currently in the notes. And then when I have it on the screen, I find it hard if I'm running the show. What are you guys doing? Are you reading it out of the notes? Like, would it be better to have a Word document?
I have mine in like a size, 48 word doc.
Okay.
That way I can see it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I think the things that I'd like to do in the presentation, rather than just reporting what we found, really emphasize the things that were novel because we did them together. Do you prefer I here, Chris? I can take this out. These are just a note.
Let's see. I kind of prefer more of the we
Okay. I'm fine with that
personally.
too. And then Ryan, is there anything you want to emphasize? Because I think that the sampling from the permit data is a novel thing as you've expressed. So would you change any words here to emphasize how that was different or new?
That hasn't been introduced before this slide, correct?
I think
I'm after this.
it's sort of you're after this, including local data from permits in Colorado, but that's about it.
I think it's okay. I think it's okay. I know when it came up, it was like, to me, like, I think as an external observer, if we just said we're going to sample from the permit database, that might be confusing, but hopefully they've read the report, so it's okay.
I would emphasize it here though, because so these are I don't remember how many projects there are, but they're gonna be, these 2 days, they're gonna be seeing like 6 or 8 projects. So they may have read our report, but it's kind of like being a reviewer on a panel where you've read 20 proposals.
I think it's still okay. I think it's fine. I don't think it's gonna. Yeah.
I would actually prefer to expand this here, with a novel thing. I'll sort that out later.
What might help there is rather than just permits, maybe write mechanical permits or HVAC permits. Like something like that.
I don't
just
think they'll know what HVAC means.
Okay, so is mechanical clear? Do people know what mechanical means?
I don't know, we may want to expand this. So I will expand it, or you can suggest expanding it. I would love it if you would write a longer, slightly longer thing expressing the novelty.
Okay.
So then I would put that here, that Ryan put together, period.
What if we make it we rather than Ryan? Does it matter there? It's not like I own it.
Well, so what I like to do is have people point to each other.
Okay, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good, yeah.
Okay. This is also a contrast slide. Yeah, and this is not well written. A lot of this stuff is written when I'm really tired, so don't be afraid to like take a hacksaw to it. I feel like this is awkward. Yeah, I probably want to rewrite this. It won't be very different, but I think it doesn't really sharply have a this versus that.
Okay.
Okay, Ryan, I think I put you down here.
Okay.
Okay, look at this.
I took some liberties.
Great. Please.
And I tried to make it a little more specific, hopefully, but I can
Yeah,
try.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right, should I go for it?
Yeah, sure, but I'll try to scroll as fast as you talk.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Go
our
ahead.
experience in phase 1 has set us up well for identifying change factors in specific important groups. For example, in phase 1, we used building permits to find homeowners who have just made changes, but we still need to interview contractors. Using our method developed in phase 1, we can sample contractors based on things our team is identifying working product, such as contractors' advertised focus on comfort from Ellison's work, their offering of heat pumps to residents based on Chris's works, or from my own work, their level of training or potential connections to other contractors. We also intend to leverage events such as the Home Performance Conference to work with contractors in system mapping. I probably need something else there, but that's it.
Did I only give you one?
There was one that said Stacy or Ryan, but then it was
Oh.
written to look like Stacy. That's
Okay.
okay.
Okay. That was only about 30 seconds. So we're a little bit short. They want us 1 minute per slide.
Okay. I can build something out.
We could say a little more about the script versus mapping
Yep.
thing. Okay. And that doesn't have to be at the top. Oh, yeah, and then I would put that, so you could probably just modify that. I think maybe some comment about because this is really the more qualitative side where we're producing the interview outcomes and the PSM outcomes. But then we need to, I think it would be worthwhile to emphasize, now these are typically seen as qualitative products, but as you'll see, we're going to be able to connect them in some way, which I really don't understand yet, right? But that's one of the things we're making progress on, right?
It's connecting the system mapping into the modeling, but I think we're all kind of fuzzy. Yeah.
We are still fuzzy. Yeah. But I
Maybe we should
think,
just say that.
yeah, well, that's some of the work that needs to be done. Uh-huh. Okay, I can suggest some words. So I think that the next slide is kind of on well-being, but it's kind of also, yeah. It's really about connecting, I guess, but.
Can I try my last paragraph again and see if it might
Yeah.
help with that? So, what if I say, we also intend to leverage events such as the Home Performance Conference to work with contractors as system mapping. We have tested a system mapping script that we intend to apply with these critical actors. Some work that still needs to be done here at our upcoming in-person meetings is to identify exactly how we will translate these more qualitative aspects of our project into our forecasting products.
Do we have an upcoming in-person meeting?
Hopefully if they fund us.
Okay. Sure. So I assume you have that written down somewhere.
Yep.
Okay, just paste it in there. All right. Yeah, sure. That sounds great.
I mean, I think we had talked about if we got funded again, we would have another in-person meeting at some point. in the next year, I think, but maybe I'm
Well, I
wrong.
mean, I think now that we've done all this work to say we're gonna do, I feel like we need to have one if we get funded.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so December again or something.
I'll just say next rather than upcoming.
No, you can say upcoming. Think positive. Okay, so what I would say about this is it's a little bit short. Both of you were a little bit short. Since we probably will not all have a chance to work together, the best thing you can do is build out your script so that it is a little less than a minute, but not very much. Because we won't have a chance to sweep through the whole thing and see if it's 15.
Okay.
Maybe one of the things I'll do is talk to Ellison, because I've given her the last 2 slides. But I think I'm a little more comfortable extemporizing, whatever the hell the word is, than she is, and so I can probably talk it out, right? So I may just take that back. But anyway, if you go through your slide and it's like 30 seconds, then just know you probably should pad it up to, or not pad, include critical content that we have previously suppressed. Okay, yeah.
And just to be clear, I'm not doing slide 12, correct? It says Stacy or Ryan.
Well, since Stacy's not here, it's hard to make a decision. I put Ryan's in, but I could easily change that to mine. Or like the permit database.
Okay.
fact, I
Either
can
way
do
is
that.
fine, I think. Is Stacy talking the slide before this?
Mhm.
Boy.
Yeah, I was hoping I would get to meet with her. But I haven't heard from her. Okay,
I think I don't know. I tend to think having Stacy do 2 and me do 1 makes the most sense, but
do which one?
having Stacy do 12 and me do the 13 makes the most sense.
Okay,
But I can if she's not comfortable doing it, I'm perfectly fine doing it. I was just thinking about like spreading out who we have talking,
Mhm.
making sure it's a mix of people in different roles on the project.
Yeah. But I don't actually think that changes whether it's her or you. I mean, I gave Chris 3 slides, but I couldn't figure out a different way to spread it. So, but here I think either one is okay.
I figured it gave more institutions more time to speak at least.
Oh, sure. We could do that. Pueblo needs equal time. Chris, you're gonna take a quarter of the slides. Okay. I don't have anything else.
All right. Let me know if anything comes up. I will try and hop on tomorrow if it works, but I'm just
Yeah,
like,
no, I don't want you to have to worry about it. And you'll be okay on Thursday?
yep, I'll be good. So
Okay.
I have that hour figured out. So
Okay,
cool.
cool. Thanks for showing up, guys.
Yeah, we'll see you. Thanks for your work, Tammy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.